This conference will now be recorded.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, so shaping the eyebrows. So notice here in this little diagram, so we have the inside, the little corner of the eye, and then we have the outside corner of the eye, and here is our eyebrows. So most eyebrows will have a sort of arch. There are different eyebrow shapes. Some eyebrows are straighter, where instead of seeing this little arch here, they kind of go more across and they have a slight incline. I've never seen eyebrows naturally grow like that, like down. I'm sure it exists, but I've never really seen it. But our typical diagram that we're going to follow for getting the perfect brow, so to speak, will be this right here. All right, so your brow should start right here. It should be perfectly aligned with the inside corner of your eye. It should end at the outside diagonal corner of the eye. And then right here is the outside of your iris. That's where your highest point should be, the apex of the brow. All right. Sometimes you'll see I guess stylists or estheticians, cosmetologists, whoever it is that you're going to have waxing your brows, they'll use a little pencil and they'll stick a pencil right here and then they'll mark it and then they'll stick a pencil here and mark it and then there. That they're creating those little guidelines for themselves before they do your brows. All right, soft wax, here we go. Discard the spatula, apply a removal strip. Yes, 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 we've talked about that. And our hard wax, yay. Yeah, okay, so hard wax usually looks like this. It's a little bit more opaque as opposed to the soft wax that looks a little more see-through. Yeah, of course, they're not gonna show us. But like I said, it looks like honey. So it usually has a sort of color to it, but our hard wax is gonna look more like that. Yeah, it's a little goopier looking, but it's not as messy. All right, so contraindications for waxing. So as we talked about last time, a contraindication is something that's going to butt heads with the service that we're doing. So if, for instance, a contraindication for waxing, if someone comes in and they would like to get their legs waxed, but they have tons of varicose veins, we probably wouldn't move forward with the service because it's going to irritate those varicose veins. It's not going to be recommended for them to do a wax at that time. If there are unusually pronounced moles or warts, you could actually pull those off by waxing them. So you never want to put wax over a mole or a wart, assuming that it's just going to hang on, because it might not. And that would be terrible for everybody involved, just terrible. Cuts, abrasions, wounds, open sores. I think that pretty much goes without saying, but we don't want to put our wax over an open wound or a sore. Active herpes. Yeah, okay, so let's talk about that. All right, everybody knows what herpes is. It's really not a big deal. It's way more common than everybody thinks it is, and you are going to see it in the salon. And there's a stigma behind it. Your clients are going to be self-conscious. But yeah, like I said, you guys, it's very, very common. Don't freak out if you ever see it on a client. Just, as long as you're not actively touching it, you're fine. We don't want to do that anyway. That's not recommended. The CDC does not recommend that you touch somebody else's open sores. But I've noticed as well, though, that clients will say anything and everything else besides I'm having an outbreak. I had a client one time that had an outbreak that told me that she burned herself with a flat iron. Like, that's not what that looks like. I know that. It's fine. You're fine. You're great. Don't worry about it. But absolutely, it's very, very important that we notice when a client does have one of those open sores, because if they come in and they're trying to do like a facial wax or get, their I always want to say mustache, but it's not mustache. The lip hair, they want to get their lip hair removed. If they are having an outbreak of herpes simplex, then we wouldn't be able to move forward. If you accidentally get some wax on there, it could really reactivate it, or you could cause further damage. You could rip some skin off. Yeah, you have to avoid it. All right, acne, the same situation. Sunburn, don't even go there. Rashes, cysts or boils, and rosacea. So rosacea, if a client has rosacea, they already have sensitive skin. So I would not recommend waxing for somebody that does have rosacea. And then if you did waxing on somebody that has rosacea, I would say never soft wax. It's just going to be way too much. All right, and here's some other contraindications that we have: diabetes, poor circulation, chemotherapy, radiation, low pain threshold, lupus, client is taking a blood thinner. All of these things could affect blood flow to the skin. It could affect the actual strength of the skin itself, so it might not be as strong as it should be in order to tolerate waxing entirely. All right, now this is very important, you guys. If you have not heard this, so oral or topical medications, it's important to ask your clients if they are on any medications that might, I guess, interfere with it. I know that a lot of our clients, here's the tricky part, a lot of our clients are not going to know that it's a contraindication. So that's why it's important that we know. But before I wax my clients, I always ask them, especially if they're younger or I notice that their skin looks like they're a little acne prone, I will ask them if they're on Accutane. That is a very important question because I have seen it happen before, you guys, and it's terrifying. Accutane can affect your skin greatly. That's the whole reason why, you know, an individual is taking it. It's going to affect their skin and potentially help them, but it makes your skin a lot more susceptible to everything. So if you were to put wax on a person who is currently on Accutane, you could actually rip their skin off. And I was in the salon one time when a colleague of mine completely took off this young lady's skin because she was on Accutane and she didn't know. The client knew, but the stylist did not know. It came right off, and you'll start seeing like some little blood, like bloody patches kind of coming through. So, you know, it's not like it's like, and then blood starts squirting out, but it just all starts sort of coming up to the surface. It gets super red, and then you get these little bloops of blood that come out. It was terrifying. So be careful. Antibiotics could have a similar reaction. Cortisone creams, absolutely. Retin A. Retin A is something, this is a product that mostly mature individuals will use on their skin. It helps to improve elasticity. It helps to remove or lessen fine lines and wrinkles on the face. Same thing with alpha hydroxy acids. This will close your pores up a little bit. Yeah, your beta hydroxys, AHAs, BHAs, yep, those are going to minimize your pores. But it does make your skin susceptible to other things. Chemical peels, especially when you get a chemical peel, the whole purpose of the chemical peel is to take off that first layer of skin. So if you're to wax somebody who's missing the first layer of their skin currently, it's going to be a disaster. Laser treatments, microdermabrasion, and recent cosmetic surgery. I think that one goes without saying, but you know, you never know. All right, threading. Let's talk about threading. I have never personally had my eyebrows threaded, but I hear it hurts like crazy. And but I can tell you the reason why threading hurts so badly is because the thread is pinching your skin and the hair. So it's not just the hair. You know how tweezing, you just pick up the individual hairs. Maybe every once in a while you'll accidentally grab your skin and just like, and it hurts. But yeah, threading, it's pulling your skin and the hair. So it hurts really bad. But it is a very old method of hair removal. I don't actually know how far it dates back, but people have been doing it for forever. It lasts approximately 4 to 6 weeks, same as your waxing or your tweezing. However long it takes for your hair to grow back out. All right, and sugaring. You don't see sugaring very often. This one is just not as popular. This is also, it's a little bit messy and it can be a little bit dangerous. So these products, it's not 100% sugar, so it's not like being in a little candy factory where you heat it up and then you put it on the skin, but it is a product that has, it's like it's a sugary paste. So there is sugar that's in it. Benefit to it is that it can get super teeny tiny short hairs that waxing might, oh, sugaring only, that's awesome. Wow, very cool. I've never heard of a salon that does that, so very neat. So yeah, you have to learn how to work with it. There's like a certain consistency, but it's great because it gets all of those hairs. Even waxing doesn't necessarily get those teeny tiny hairs all the time. You're more likely to with that soft wax. With the hard wax, it usually it doesn't. It's just not strong enough. Yeah, but sugaring is cool. I've always kind of wanted to have that done. All right, cool. So waxing, you can wax anywhere on the body, just about. Tweezing is typically only for your face, upper lip, and your eyebrows because it's only getting like a teeny tiny amount of space. It's not ideal. You know, if you're trying to get the hair off of your chest, you're probably not going to sit there for 3 days plucking everything. I mean, why put yourself through that pain? Just wax it, sugar it, whatever you got to do. And then depilatories, arms, back, shoulders, legs, top of feet and toes. So something that I will say was my fault with my eyebrow situation. Nowhere on the packaging does it recommend putting this product on your face, and I did anyway. But still, you know what? I put it on my arms and it roasted my skin there. I have no choice. I have to tweeze. Yeah. I do you have very sensitive skin? Probably. Is that why you can only tweeze? Yeah. Yeah, and that's a very good point. Sometimes individuals don't always have that to choose from. Sometimes you can only tweeze and that's it. Your skin is just too sensitive. You'll either break out or your face will just be red for days. It takes a while to get that swelling back down. Yeah, exactly. I put a bag of bees over my face. I've been there. That happened to me. The first time I ever got my eyebrows waxed ever when I was like 13, I broke out in hives. And then it used to make me break out all over my forehead. It kind of still does, but not as bad as when I was a teenager. Yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah, waxing can be very scary. It can be scary for us as the professional to do it for people. I know that I'm a little bit like, okay, here we go. Whenever someone tells me, oh, I've never been waxed before, you never know what's going to happen. So definitely let your clients know that, if you're doing a wax for the first time or sugaring for the first time or, what have you, you want to let them know that they might see some skin irritation. Oh no, I had a client who lied about her meds and her skin ripped off. Yep, I know, right? Sometimes they lie and or sometimes they forget. It happens. It can totally happen. But it's the more you know and the more informative you are for your client, the less likely it is that that's going to happen. But guys, at the end of the day, if your client lies to you, they lie to you. Yeah, that is no good. Are we liable for that? Okay. It depends. It totally depends on the salon that you're working at, or if it's your salon, how you're running it. So for instance, here at Sun State Academy, every single person that comes in here, they have to fill out our waiver form. So if anything like that happens, we're not liable. And a lot of salons do have that, but some don't. So yeah, waiver forms are super important, and I do recommend having everyone like the sign-in sheet that we have at our Sun State Academies. That is such a good idea. It really. Now, if you're working for a much larger chain, like a place like Hair Cuttery or Supercuts, they're very well insured, so you really wouldn't have to worry about it. If you're working for yourself, that's where it kind of gets a little dicey, and that's why it's important to have your own regulations. And you need to have your own insurance as well. Just in the event that something like that does happen, you're good. Yeah, waivers are the best way to ensure that you're safe and that you're not getting sued by anybody. All right. So I had a record and it had all meds in. Oh yeah, okay, there you go. So perfect. So you would not have been liable in that situation because it has her meds and everything written down. I mean, if it wasn't the previous time, then how were you supposed to know? But when something like that happens, you immediately want to add that to the client record so we know next time, don't do this. Yeah, so if you had them fill out all the paperwork, you're good. All right, so moving on to permanent hair reduction. We don't have as many choices, but there is electrolysis and light. All right, so electrolysis. It uses different types of currents to cause damage to the cells of the papilla and disrupt the hair growth. So the three different methods, there's galvanic, like galvanic current, thermolysis, and a blend of both of them. So this type of thing, permanent hair removal, does not pertain to us as cosmetologists. So you need a separate license, possibly even degree, in order to do this, at least in the state of Florida. Yeah, all right. So the galvanic method, what this does, it is galvanic electrolysis method. It destroys the hair by decomposing the papilla. So once that papilla is completely decomposed, you're not going to grow hair there anymore. Although, you know, I know people who have done this for some time and they said that it worked for them. I reckon how estheticians. Yeah, so estheticians, they can do this, but like I said, it gets a little bit dicey. Sometimes depending, and I'm not 100% sure of every single thing that depends on that. You might not be able to legally perform it on somebody. We'll talk about that a little bit later. All right. In my old school, we had to stay for extra credit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you have to get, it's like an additional sort of license or certification in order to be able to do it. Exactly. All right. So this one uses multiple wire needles that probes inside of the follicle. Sounds a little bit painful, but I hear it feels mostly just like a little bit of a burn. So that's what it does. It just uses that little thing and then it sort of zaps the hair out. All right, and then our thermolysis, it uses high frequency or shortwave method that involves inserting a single needle probe into the follicle. Okay, so it's similar, it's just a slightly different type of light therapy. All right, so the current travels to the papilla for less than a second, so it's very quick, and then the hair is immediately tweezed from the follicle. So time and intensity of the current are carefully controlled, preferably by an automatic timer. The client feels only a tiny so a tiny flash of heat. Yeah, so it feels a little bit like a burning. It can be very uncomfortable, but it's nothing crazy, or at least it shouldn't be. And then there's the blend method where you can do kind of a little bit of both. It's a combination of galvanic and thermolysis technology. So this one, you have to have a special piece of equipment in order to do that. But if you have a client that is suffering from a lot of unwanted hair, there are conditions that cause that, where you'll see, you know, females that have a lot of extra facial hair here, like on their face, on the chin, and the sideburns, maybe even on the chest. This might be useful for them. Oh, but what I was saying, I have heard of people doing this and it working, but then somehow it ends up coming back. I mean, it's possible. Anything is possible. All right. Cool. So light-based treatments, only effective when hair is in the anagen phase of growth. So it's a little trickier, this guy. There are two methods. There's laser hair reduction and photoepilation. Okay, so for those of you who did not know, laser hair removal, it's not that they take an actual laser to you. It is an acronym, believe it or not. But in my opinion, it's still kind of lasery. But laser, it stands for light amplification by simulated emission of radiation. Laser, there you have it. All right, so it emits a beam of light that passes through the skin to the hair follicle. So it is a laser, but it's also an acronym. How fun. The hair does absorb the light and it transforms it into heat energy, which destroys the hair bulb. There you have it. And then photoepilation or intense pulse light, it uses it's similar to laser hair removal, but this type of light is just different. It's not actually considered laser light, just different. So this is a pulse light beam. It creates a burst of energy used to destroy hair bulbs with minimal scarring. Both lasers and pulse light are a form of light beam. The difference between the two is that a laser is a constant beam of light and the pulse is not constant. It contains multiple wavelengths. All right, so one is just your straight beam. The other one, it goes in, it pulsates. Photoepilation can provide 50 to 60% clearing of hair over a 12-week period of time. Wow, there you have it. So this can take a lot of time, multiple sessions in order for you to notice that your hair is no longer growing in or showing up. You're noticing that you're having less hair growth, but it can be a lot of money. It can be very, very expensive, but it is worth it for those who are suffering from some unwanted hair. All right, great. So we will go over this. These are a little trickier to do with you guys over this, but whatever. So hypertrichosis, the condition of unwanted or superfluous hair. Yep, definitely. Licensed cosmetologists are qualified to perform permanent hair reduction services. We are not. So you do need some additional courses and additional training to be able to do that. Okay, so Jasmine, is it based on preference, or will different types of electrolysis light work better for certain types of people? Yeah, I think it all really depends. I'm not personally certified in laser hair removal or anything like that. So off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you what that is, but I can tell you that it depends on the type of hair that you have, I guess, too much of, the density of it, where it's located. It depends on if your client has a very high pain tolerance or not. It depends on how much money and time they're willing to put into it. There's a lot of factors that go into it. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Darker hair, lighter hair, thicker hair, thinner hair. It depends on what type you're trying to get rid of. Barbara. Barbara is an esthetician, for those of you who do not know Ms. Barbara. Dark hair is more susceptible to the light, and so it has a better rate of reduction. Thank you, Barbara. Very cool. All right, so hair removal method most often used when unwanted hair covers large areas is shaving. It's very common. That's probably the first place that all of us are going to go to when, you know, we notice that our leg hair is growing out. We're just gonna grab a razor, shave it off, it's fine. Painless method of hair removal that dissolves the hair at skin level, chemical depilatory, debatable. Painless, debatable. All right, to remove hair from its follicle is epilation. So epilation is tweezing, waxing, depilatory techniques, sugaring, all of those. Then the hair removal that's most often used when unwanted hair covers smaller areas, there's tweezing. The eyebrow should begin over the inside corner of the eye. So right in through. Oh, that's right. You guys can't see me. I'm like showing you, but I know you're looking at my, anyway. So the inside corner of the eye. The two types of wax, they are the soft and the hard wax. Never put it over sunburn. You also don't want to put it over anybody who's had cortisone creams going on. If they have other underlying conditions, and if they've been using Accutane, lots of different things. So the two main methods of permanent hair reduction are electrolysis and light, otherwise our lasers. All right, cool. There we go. Hypertrichosis. This is one that you guys are going to want to know for your state board, and hirsutism, of course, as well. So hirsutism, a condition where women grow dark hair in areas of the body that men typically grow more hair. Okay, so these are the people that are going to benefit most from permanent hair removal, as opposed to just the society norm of, I don't want hair on my arms. Right? Or not norm, but a society standard of, I don't want hair on my arms. Just wax it. It's fine. All right, perfect. So any questions about hair removal? That's not what we need. Nope. All right, cool. So moving on, let's go to our next one here. The more fun of the two, in my opinion. Makeup. Let's talk about makeup. If Kylie can find it, how many times am I going to click on the wrong one? All right, great. All right, makeup theory. Here we go. For those of you who know me, you know I love makeup. It's so much fun. It is actually super relaxing in the morning. I know that there are a lot of those out there that say makeup's not really my thing, or, you know, I've never really gotten into it. I personally view it as it really is an art form, just like anything else. You know, if you're a cosmetologist, at the end of the day, you are an artist. You're a hair artist, right? But you can also be a makeup artist. Makeup is so much fun. It's basically like having a blank canvas in the morning for me, and then I put my makeup on and I just get to be just my own art for the day. I have a lot of fun with it. All right, so explore. So what has been the most popular trend of makeup since you started wearing it or become familiar with it? So go ahead and answer that in the chat. Take a moment. I can say for me, I've started wearing makeup, you know, it's been a while, but I would say one of the most popular trends would be the winged eyeliner. I mean, she even has some going on here, and contouring. When I first started wearing makeup, contouring, nobody was doing that at all. That wasn't really in so much. In the late 90s and the early 2000s, it was all about glitter, pastels, more glitter. Nobody was really worried about their face shape, not so much. I know that they were doing it in, you know, in movies and things like that, but for the most part, not really so much. Yeah, big fluffy brows and highlighter. Highlighters are very in. Winged eyeliner and lips were big when I started doing makeup. Lips are very in right now. Yes, they are. In fact, we are going to go over a little bit of theory on how to make your lips appear not so large. Nobody would do that these days. Like, everybody wants their lips to be huge. I would love my lips to be bigger. It's crazy. When I was younger, people wanted exactly, there you go, right? The late 90s and the early 2000s, it was like you could not get them thin enough. I remember a lot of my friends were just shaving them off. Like my best friend, she did that as well. Her and I have been friends since we were kids, and yep, she would just shave them right off and then just draw this little black line, and that was beautiful. Yep. Now that you're a little older, they want thick, very thick brows. It's a I know it is, yeah. So, and of course, you know, for a lot of us, that happens after we've already plucked them to death and we can't have thick brows anymore. Ugh, like, come on, why do we do this to ourselves? All right. So let's talk about this fun word. Oh my gosh. Charis. I can't, you guys. I have an English degree and this word trips me up every time. Chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro, I suppose. Artistic concept that utilizes an arrangement of light and dark parts to visually alter the contours of the face. Okay, so the word we know for this is highlight and contour. So our lighter colors, otherwise known as our highlight, it's anywhere that you put this on the face, it's going to make your face stand out, or the part of the face that you put it on, or even the part of the body. That's something that's very in now too, is contouring and highlighting your neck, your collarbones, places like that. In order to accentuate the curves that you have and the definition on your body. So wherever you put a highlight or a lighter color, it's going to stand out, accentuate it, highlight attractive features, and emphasize areas that need to be brought out. Now our darker colors, otherwise known as our contours, is going to recede areas that we don't want highlighted. It minimizes certain areas, can diminish less attractive features. In my opinion, there are no unattractive features. Just throwing that out there. But shadow areas that you wish to minimize. All right, so we have this beautiful young lady here with a super fun haircut. I like it better curly, that's just me. But yeah, see the difference here? I mean, she's beautiful anyway, right? She's gorgeous. I mean, look how amazing her skin is. Give me a break. But you can tell over here that she has contoured her cheeks a little bit, provided a little bit of shadow right over here on the outside, and then she's highlighted the inside, the inner corners of her eye. So this is making her skin look a little bit more, it makes her look youthful but mature at the same time. So her cheekbones are making her look a little bit more mature, but her skin looks brighter. She looks a little more put together. And then over here we have our evening look. Typically for our evening looks, we choose darker colors to go with the night, so to speak. And she has a bright lip on now, and it looks like she has eyeliner on where she didn't before, or if she does have eyeliner on here, she has thickened it up just a little bit. So she looks sassier. Evening looks are sassy. Day looks are supposed to be a little less sassy. I don't know, if you're me, you like the sass all day long. All right, so we're gonna go over a little bit of color theory right now, and then I have something interesting that I wanna talk about. And for those of you who have ever been in an intro class of mine or any class of mine pretty much, you've heard this story before, but we're gonna briefly go over it. All right, so the law of color, and I think this is a very broad statement, but here we go. Out of all of the colors in the universe, only 3 are pure, also known as primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. Okay, true. This is totally true. Out of all the colors in the universe, I don't know. So we have red, yellow, and blue, and then mixing 2 primaries in varying proportions creates the 3 secondary colors. We have green, orange, and violet. All right. So go ahead and utilize the chat really quick. So what happens, what color do you get when you mix red and yellow? Yep, very good. Perfect. OJ. Exactly.
Orange.
All right. What about when you mix yellow and blue? Logan, enough. Yes. Green. Logan, stop. Okay. Green, exactly. And what about red and blue? Perfect. Yep. Violet. Purple. Yep. Yep. Also right. Purple, violet, what have you. Great. All right. So let's go. Get out of this one because I don't need this now. So let's talk about that for just a second. All right, so this is what I was talking about. If you've ever been in a class of mine, you've heard me talk about this before. So this is a super cute little blog. It's called The Oatmeal. It's this guy that does very adorable, I guess, comics, sort of. And this person discovered the mantis shrimp and did the most adorable comic on it ever, and I love it. And it's actually very informative. If you've never seen this before, I suggest that you go through the whole thing because it's super cute and you'll fall in love with the mantis shrimp. All right. So as it says here, our eyes contain millions of light-sensitive cells called rods and cones. Rods enable us to see light and motion. Cones enable us to see color. That's important. So we do have cones in our eyes that allow us to see every single color. So if you look around right now, everything that we can see as far as color is coming from those cones. So dogs can't see as many as we can. A lot of animals can't see as many colors as we can because they only have 2 types of receptor cones. They have green and they have blue. That's it. So they can only see colors that have green and blue inside of them. So they can't see orange, yellow, things like that. I mean, they can see a little bit of yellow, but they can't see red. Now here we are. Here's us. We have 3 types of color receptive cones. We have green, blue, and red. All right, so that's why we can see tons and tons of colors because we have nearly endless possibilities of tones and shades that come out of these colors, but that's it. That's all we can see. Now, if you move down, we have the butterfly. They have 5 types of color receptive cones. So they can see all of the colors that we see and then some. Some colors that we will never be able to comprehend, which I think is super cool. And then that's when we come into the mantis shrimp. They have not 2, not 3, not 5, but they have 16 color receptive cones. So that blows my mind. I think it is so cool. I wish so bad as a cosmetologist, as a hairstylist, as a makeup artist that I could see these colors because I would want to play with them. It would be so great, but we'll never be able to, and that's very sad. Oh well, what can you do? Now I have to relearn my colors because I'm confused. Yeah, thanks a lot, Logan. Thanks a lot. So yes, that's why I say that out of all the colors in the universe, there's only 3 that are pure. I'm like, that's kind of a broad statement, but if we're talking strictly about humans, yeah, sure, okay. All right, so let's move down a little bit. So now we have our tertiary colors. So when you mix primary and secondary colors in varying proportions, you're going to end up with your tertiary colors. You'll know it's a tertiary color because it is no longer just a simple one word term like that color is red or that color is blue. It's now going to be yellow green or red orange or blue green or blue violet. Those are our tertiary colors. They're always going to have a little hyphen in there. And then complementary colors. I like to remember complementary colors by, I guess, what we most likely associate them with. So complementary colors, if you look on any color wheel, they're going to be located directly across from each other, And what a complementary color does is when you mix them together, it creates a neutral color or it creates brown. That's it. So we have red and green. When you mix them together, you're going to get brown every time. Try it with your Play-Doh, try it with your paint, try it with your markers. I mean, how many times did we do that as a kid where you have red and then you're like, oh man, green would look so cool in here, and you mix it and you ruin your marker and it turns black/brown and looks awful and you have to start over. How many times did you cry over that? Be honest. All right, so red and green. We have our Christmas colors. Yay, Christmas colors. They're complementary. You will get a neutral color when you mix them together. Blue and orange. I always think of the Gators when I think of blue and orange. So that's how I remember that, complementary colors. And yellow violet. Being from Fort Myers, I was born and raised here, so I think of Cypress Lake High School. That helps me remember that as well. All right, so Christmas, Florida Gators, and Cypress Lake High School. That's what I got. Of course, you guys can remember those any way that you want to, but it helps. All right. So perfect, here we go. You can also take your color wheel and you can basically kind of slice it in half. And on one side, you're gonna have your cool colors, right? So they're cooler. We associate our cool colors with emotions like calmness or life or relaxation, you know, maybe even courage and beauty, and yeah. Now over here on the other side where all of our warm colors are, we associate these colors, this part of the color wheel, with vivacity, with happiness, with brightness, you know, the sun, warmth, and maybe even anger, like emotion. It's the total opposite, the literal opposite of the cool side. So we're over here on this side of the color wheel, we're all chilling, having a good time. But then you pop on over here and we're wreaking havoc. Everybody's crazy and another way for you guys to remember that. So going back to, let's talk about our Christmas colors really quick of red and green. When we mix them together, we do get a neutral color. And here they are, located directly across from each other on this color wheel. Complementary. So this is going to be true for every color on the color wheel. If you go directly across the street from it, this is what you mix with it to neutralize it entirely. So if we have red violet and you wanted to completely neutralize that red violet, you would need to mix yellow green with it and it will neutralize. This is an excellent little cheat sheet for you guys when you do start it. You know, if you haven't started color yet, I know that most of us have, but and even as you're going along and learning more about color, always remember this. So when we do highlights, they typically come out yellow or yellow orange. How do we neutralize that? Let's go across the street. Okay, so I have yellow highlights. I'm going to put some violet on it and it's going to neutralize it and make it look nice and natural. Or, oh no, you know, my highlights pulled orange. What should I tone it with? You're going to choose a toner that has blue in it to get rid of that. Now, you got to be really careful right in here when it's yellow orange and you use like a blue violet. You got to be careful with that. Hair can sometimes have a tendency to turn a little bit green. Yeah, it does. But we'll get to that later. So our monochromatic colors, there's the same color with variations in value and intensity. So what does monochromatic mean exactly? Let me show you. Okay. Monochromatic. There we go. This is monochromatic. Perfect example. At the end of the day, every color on here is basically red, but they're different types of red. You know, when you go to Home Depot or you go to Lowe's and you're over in the paint section, you see a lot of monochromatic swatches because you'll walk in and you go, I want red. Okay, what kind of red do you want? Or I'm all about it. I want some blue. Okay, well, what kind of blue? Because there is an infinite amount of blues, reds, yellows, greens. So down here, this is more of like a blood red. This one's more of like a, also sort of a blood red. It's just not as deep, not as dark. We have our true red that's right in here. And then as it gets lighter and lighter and lighter, it ends up being this very pastel light pink color. Now, to get this, like if you were mixing paints together, you would start out with just your regular red. If you add any amounts of white to it, it's going to create lighter shades. So you're basically highlighting your color. If you add black to any of them, you're going to get more depth. You're going to contour this color. So all these things are true all across the map, whether you're talking about hair, whether you're talking about paint, makeup, doesn't matter. All right, analogous, the three colors adjacent on the color wheel. So see these little guys right here? So there's yellow, red, blue. Those are analogous colors on the color wheel. All right, so if you go over here to orange, it's gonna be orange, yellow. Oh my gosh, I'm like trying to turn my head a little bit. Yeah, so orange, violet, and green. All right, and then we have triadic, three colors in a triangular position. Oh my gosh, triangular position on the color wheel. All right, so similar right here, we have red, violet, violet, and then blue, violet. So this is a really good map for you guys to have on here. I think I just said those backwards. I'm sorry. Analogous, these guys, and then triadic right there. Yeah, so this is a perfect map for you because it will show you. These color wheels are a little bit confusing. Like if you try to make one yourself, if you don't position them exactly where they're supposed to be on the color wheel, the whole thing falls apart. So I suggest that you find one that is already digitally made for the purpose of accuracy. All right. And then complementary colors, we learned about that already. They're directly across the street. There are neighbors that walk outside of their house and wave at each other every single morning. They're just right across the street. All right, so here we go. Here are some terms that are a little bit confusing to a lot of us. So we have hue, tint, shade, value, intensity, tone. Don't those all mean sort of the same thing? Kind of, sometimes. Hue, that's another term for color. You could replace this with or you could replace the word color with hue and it means the exact same thing. Now a tint, that is when we add white. So a moment ago when we were talking about, here we go, talking about our monochromatic colors, if we begin with red and we add a little bit of white to it to create these lighter, like pink colors, we are tinting it, the tinted shade, tinted hue. Now, if we add black to it, like we do on this half of this monochromatic photo here, then it's going to be a shade. It's a shade of red. I know a lot of us have been using that incorrectly for quite some time, probably most of our lives. I know that I certainly have. I'll say like, that's not really the shade of blue that I'm looking for. Saying that, like truly what that means is you're looking for a deeper shade of blue. But if you're saying that you're looking for a tint of blue, then you're looking for lighter shades of blue. All right, the value is the amount of the lightness or the darkness that's in those colors. Intensity is going to be the vibrancy of it. So like your pastels do not have very much intensity at all. The purpose of them is that they're a little bit muted. That's why we like them. That's what we like pastels for, as opposed to your Ronald McDonald red, which is very intense. And then the tone is the warmth or the coolness of the color. So the tone of red is warm. The tone of blue is cool. All right, male aesthetic market. Yes, we are living in a day and age finally where it's acceptable for men to wear makeup. I'm very happy for you guys. I think that's wonderful. Um, we see it a lot on, shows like RuPaul's Drag Race. But then if you go even further back in time, I don't know how many people have very conservative parents, but you could hear of conservative parents saying things like, you can't wear makeup, you're a boy, and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is that even in our parents' generation and their parents' generation, men have been wearing makeup for forever. It kind of is society standards, they kind of ebb and flow throughout the years. I mean, think about in the 80s with David Bowie, Motley Crue, Def Leppard, they were all wearing Kiss, they all wear makeup. So it's been okay for a long time, but typically in the past it was only in those um, what's the term? I guess celebrity situation. Machine Gun Kelly wears makeup. Okay, so he wears makeup. Yeah, a lot of us wear makeup. But that's good. I like that we're living in a day and age now where men are able to wear that. Everybody, you do you. All right. So, what are our colors typically associated with? I like this because I feel as though it is true, and this is a way for us to be able to get on the same like wavelength as our client. So let's say that a client comes in and they say, I really want to change my hair color. This is a flash forward to me putting my boyfriend in drag for an assignment. Yeah, actually, and I have received a couple of those of some of some students using their boyfriend as a model, and it is fantastic. I really enjoy that, you guys. It's wonderful. Totally did that to my 13-year-old son. Yes, all about it. I love it. If my husband was here, I would do the same thing. All right. So right. So let's say that your client comes in and says, I just want something just fun. I just want something that's just going to make me happy, but I don't know, I trust you. Use those descriptive words are very helpful to you as a stylist in giving your client what they want. So if she comes in and says, I want something vibrant and fun and lively, then you're probably not going to give them like a very deep blue. Yeah, we're probably not, because that's not really what that screams. That doesn't mean that a deep blue is not going to look nice on her, but it's not really what's typically associated with that. So our reds are typically associated with passion, love, danger, anger. It's just bam, wow in your face. Yellow, it's happy, associated with happiness, optimism, creativity. Blue, this says trust, dignity, intelligence, authority. Yes, okay, totally. But it's also associated with calmness, with depth, maybe even sometimes with sadness. When someone says, I'm feeling blue, that's where that comes from. Green, associated with growth, fertility, nature, liveliness, life. Purple, nobility and luxury. I 100% agree with that. Anytime I see purple or violet, it shouts royalty to me. Orange, energy, vitality, and warmth. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for me personally, I love oranges. I don't really like to have orange on my hair just because I feel like having orange on your hair, I don't know. I don't know. It's a little intense for me. I love it on other people. I see a lot of people on Pinterest and I'm like, should I go orange? But as far as makeup goes, I love using oranges because they just bring the skin to life. All right. Moving on into face shapes. And I know that you guys have gone over this probably a lot already, so we're just gonna go over it quickly as well. In fact, let me know in the chat how many of you guys have gone over face shapes already, just to sort of give me an idea. He said he looked like a depressed flamingo. That's amazing. hmm Yeah, most of us. Okay. Yeah, I think, yeah, we go over face shapes and intro, intermediate, when we're talking about all of our forms and all that. So, okay, yeah, so we're gonna go through it quickly. All right, so 7 basic face shapes. We have oval, round, square, oblong, pear, diamond, and heart. The most common face shapes are round, oval, oblong. I think it's few and far between that you actually see someone where you're like, okay, yeah, that their head shape is square. Oh wow, your head is shaped like a pear. It's like a diamond. Wow, what a heart shape. You don't see these as often. You typically see oval, round, and oblong. All right, so oval is considered the desired face shape. So when we're contouring and highlighting, the goal is to get your face to look oval. I don't know if we knew that, but that's usually what we're trying to do. So it's rounded, long and narrow, and it doesn't require corrective application. So in theory, somebody that already has a oval face shape doesn't have to contour or highlight. I know that's not always going to be the case, but yeah. All right, so here we go. We have a round face and we have a square face. Whenever I think of a square face, I think the perfect example of that is, oh my gosh, Olivia Wilde. She has the squarest head. No offense to Olivia Wilde. Sorry, I did my hair last night and Miss Jenny just walked past and saw it for the first time. It was brown yesterday. Okay, yeah, so here's Olivia Wilde. Oh, this is a great picture. There she is, square. That is a square head. And she's gorgeous. There's nothing wrong with her square head, but you don't see face shapes like this very often. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Black China. Oh, you're right. She's also so pretty. I think she's really pretty. And I like her with the blonde hair. Yep, yep, yep. Very, very square. Exactly. Like so you know they don't look alike enough. But yeah, you notice it when you see these face shapes. Okay. So oblong. In so many words, what we're trying to say when somebody has an oblong face shape is that they have either an asymmetrical or it's just very long. It's really long. Off the top of my head, maybe Allison Janney has an oblong face shape, I think. And her hair always looks perfect, so it's a little bit more like difficult to tell. But yeah, here we go. See how it's very long. It's just really long. She's a very tall, lengthy person herself. It works for her. You know, I love Allison Janney. I think she's amazing. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good example of that. Kind of a longer forehead, longer chin, and then you tend to be a little bit squarer. Oh yeah, no, Logan, that's a good one. Scream does have an oblong face shape. Absolutely. Scream has an oblong face shape. Very good. Very good. Maybe we don't need the knife. We don't need that. Okay. So, pear. A pear face shape that's going to be what's her name? What's Ozzy Osbourne's daughter? I only know Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne daughter. There we go. I'm drawing a blank for some reason. I can't remember her name. Kelly Osbourne. She has a pear-shaped head. She's the only person I can ever think off of the top of my head who has a pear-shaped head. That's a very rare face shape. Very rare. But yeah, here you go. See how she's a little bit more narrow up here in the forehead, and then her cheeks come out like that. And it's not square, it's rounded. It really is pear-shaped. Adele? Yeah, let's Google Adele. Let's see what Adele looks like. What did I just type in? Oh, Agel. Okay, well that's a thing. Adele. I don't know. I don't know that I would consider it pear-shaped. No, I think she's more either she's more oval or I'm gonna say that she's oval. I actually think that Adele has like a really beautiful face shape. I think she's so pretty. Yeah, right? I don't know. I'm going to say oval. Okay. Sometimes it's a mix of a couple. Then we have diamond, like Halle Berry has a diamond face shape, and then Reese Witherspoon has a heart shape. So let's look at Halle Berry. Gorgeous diamond face shape. She is so pretty. I can't stand you. She's like 50 years old and she still looks like she's 20. So gorgeous head shape. And then Reese Witherspoon. Heart shape. So really, in order to have a heart-shaped face, you kind of have to have that pointy chin. Without the pointy chin, it's not really giving you that heart effect. And also, guys, the hairline does play into this as well. So if someone like if Reese Witherspoon had like a really heavy widow's peak happening here, then her face would be even more heart-shaped than it is. She doesn't have a very noticeable widow's peak at her hairline, so. All right, cool. Now facial features. We have wider noses, longer noses that are a little bit more narrow. We have undefined cheekbones, so maybe your cheeks are very round. That has a tendency to give a person a more youthful look, so not, which is good actually, but everybody's different. A receding chin, right? So in order to correct a receding chin, you might want to apply highlighter on the upper chin, and notice how she has this graduated haircut. This is on purpose. It's creating length up in the front, so it's pulling your eyes down this way, helping to create an illusion that we have more of a chin, that our chin isn't receding as much. I mean, this model does not have a receding chin, so I don't know why they drew her like that, but yeah, that's the point. All right, here we go. So we have a pointed chin, contour with a slightly darker color right down here. I like pointy chins, so whatever, but yeah, if you can see that, there's contour right on the bottom of her chin. And then if you have a double chin, then you would contour underneath. So we've seen that on YouTube quite a few times, right? Where maybe an influencer was adding tons of contour right up underneath their chin, trying to have that double chin. Okay, and then if we have a very broad or a very square jaw or a broad forehead, then you're going to contour up here in the temples. See how that's creating more of a roundness, and then down here putting our contour on the jawline, and it's bringing it all in, just kind of. All right, so moving on to the eyes, we can divide this into 3 different areas: the eyelid, the crease area, and the brow bone. So there are different types of eyes. There's wide spaced eyes or wide set eyes, close set eyes, or just, I guess, just your middle. There's other ones too. We're gonna kind of move on to that. But what constitutes this is the distance between your eyebrows, the inner corners of your eyes, and even the width of your nose will all play a factor in whether or not you have well-spaced eyes or inset or wide set. All right, eye shapes. So we have almond eyes, small eyes. I love almond shaped eyes. My best friend has almond shaped eyes and they're beautiful. Small eyes. Wide set and close set. So if we go up here for our almond eyes, it's a glorious shape. It's amazing. If you can wear eyeshadow like this, totally do, because it looks just looks so mysterious and gorgeous. Kind of reminds me of like Jasmine from Aladdin, especially with that color.
No, I got a new sword.
In order to correct that,
Oh, I hit myself here. Now I got.
we have shadow that we're bringing up and away from. Which is the thing of being larger. Okay, so wide set eyes. I want to talk about this really quick. So in theory, if you have wide set eyes, in order to make it make the eyes seem as though they're not as far apart, you would add some shadow on the inner corners. Okay, you got to take this with a grain of salt, because if you saw somebody who only had shadow like right here on the side of their eyes, it's going to look a little bit strange. It almost makes the eyes look unintentional. So if you are doing this, it's very, very minimal. I mean, you're using like a very neutral shade and then doing the rest of your eyes as normal. All right, so then close set eyes, you're gonna put some darker shadow right there on the outside. So we have drop set eyes. So these eyes tend to be just a little droopier looking. You'll see these in our elderly clients more, and then bulging eyes, which were very in the 20s. Sorry guys, I don't know what happened with my screen just then. Okay, bulging eyes, this was very in the 20s to have that sort of tired look. And you're putting a lot of deeper eyeshadow all around the eyes, shadowing it in a little bit. All right, so lips, and this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier. Ways to minimize the lip. So if you have a full bottom lip, then you wouldn't fill this in all the way, but I disagree with that because I think the fuller the lip, the better. That's just me. Uneven lips, maybe you'll have to go a little bit higher. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm sorry, my computer is flipping out. It's just like, I can't remember anything. I know. All right, uneven lips, you'll probably have to go a little bit higher on one side. I myself have uneven lips, not up here, but it's over here. So my lip will go like that, and then it does the same thing, but then it touches down like a little bit over here. It's really annoying. Thin lips, you'll want to overline a little bit to give you the, I guess, illusion of having bigger lips, but you have to be really careful. Otherwise, you can end up looking like a clown. You know, when the clown like puts all the red all over their lips. Yeah, it happens very fast. All right, and then sharply defined lips. Ooh, I have a good one for this one, Rihanna. She has very defined lips. Probably the most defined I have ever seen on a person. Come on. There we go. See? And that's her natural lip. They are just like that. They're extremely defined, very pretty and very unique. And I love how she does not try to hide that, right? So she's not trying to correct it at all. She's just going right in the shape of her lip. Good for her. I support that. I support that, you guys. All right, great. So I also wanted to show you guys just a couple pictures. So I know that for some of us, makeup seems a little bit boring until you really start getting in there and seeing exactly what it can do. So I included a couple before and after pictures for all of you. So here we are. I don't know if this is just a model or if she's actually getting married, but she looks so young here. I mean, if you look at her over on the left, she's looking probably, I mean, to me, she looks like she's no older than 15 or 16. And then here, she looks like a very well put together woman in her mid 20s with excellent skin. So what all has changed? Well, the tone of her skin, it's a little warmer. See how we can see the pinkness here in her cheeks, maybe a couple little blemishes. I mean, she has great skin. We're just being picky right now, but so we don't see any of those. We've highlighted underneath her eyes. It matures you. Yes, exactly. Yes, it doesn't age you, it matures you. Then you have your full brows right over here. So we definitely filled her brows in, made them a little bit ashier to go with that, the tone of her hair. Highlighted the inner corners. We put some nice warm shadow, and then we have contoured the cheeks to make her cheekbones look even more defined. And we have a glossy lip. Yep, false lashes. Yeah, we have a little bit of winged eyeliner going on, and then we've contoured the forehead a little bit. Contouring can also be not so much, it can be used for, it doesn't have to be for correcting, it can be just for giving your skin a little bit more life. That's mostly what I use contour for, is because otherwise I'm just a ghost. Like, I look like a literal ghost. I am so pale. I kind of have to put the blood back in my skin, is what I like to say. So I use bronzer for that reason, to make it look like I go out in the sun like a normal person, but I don't. All right, and then here we have another one. So we've really defined those brows, contouring on the forehead. All right, highlighting underneath the eyes, very similar techniques to our previous model. And that's a great before and after. False eyelashes, definitely a nice, pretty lip. Okay. So makeup can also make you look like an entirely different person. So over here, see how this young lady, she has this super awesome tattoo. I love tattoos. I think tattoos are great. But maybe you want to cover it up a little bit. Now you would have to have some extremely high coverage makeup for this, but it's totally possible. So there are foundations out there, concealers that can cover up tattoos, even large ones like this, but she's added a lot of pink into her skin. Her brows are totally different now, and her face is a little bit warmer. And this looks like a totally different person. I don't know if she redid her hair, if she's just wearing a wig. It's probably just a wig, but, and she has great lips too. Yeah. All right, here we go. For Andrea, yep, we're mature, not age, it's mature. So makeup for more mature skin. Again, she's absolutely gorgeous, but we're just bringing out her features. We're accentuating them. So this is mostly how clients like to have their makeup done. It's not like they want to look like somebody different, but they want to accentuate what they already have naturally. So her eye shape has not changed. Her brow shape really hasn't changed that much, and neither has her lips. So we're not doing anything, not over exaggerating anything, but just adding to what she already has and bringing it all out. I use this stuff on my birthmark, magic eraser. Oh, I love your birthmark, Jasmine. It's so fun. Okay, and then I wanted to talk about this. I'm sure most of us have seen this photo slash video on the internet. Exactly, it's all just enhancing. So we've seen this on the internet. I don't know if people are really still doing this. It's been a little while since I've seen someone do this. But I know that last year this was very in. We're seeing a lot of those videos where I don't know, you know, the person that's making it is like, oh, look at me, this is how I look, like normally. And it's almost like they try to make themselves look at their absolute worst. Yeah, I know. And then she takes off the the nose. They try to make themselves look that absolute worst that they possibly can, and then they'll doll themselves up, or vice versa. So in this one, she starts out looking kind of like this, and then you just see this pin or needle or whatever just go right through her nose, and she takes it off. This is actually possible to do, and it's usually done with like scar. It's called scar wax. It's the type of wax that they use in special effects for zombies and things like that. I know a few of us have used it here at school for special effects. But you can sculpt your own nose out of it, and then it just sticks to you, and you can put makeup over it. But I do want to let all of you guys know that this fad right here is not 100% makeup. Some of it is, but most of it is due to apps that you can download that change your face shape and get rid of all of these blemishes. I actually tried it on myself one time. I looked into this. I'm like, how are they doing this? I just don't buy it. It's an app. So her head shape probably isn't. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it totally is. So there's an app that you can download. I forgot what it's called, but it turns you into a little kawaii person, essentially. So that's what we're using here. And you can tell her face shape looks very similar to when we're on Snapchat and we use one of those filters, and our head shape just looks like phenomenal. But at the same time, you're like, something's off, like it almost slightly off. That's what's happening. So this is all an app. So her face shape is, I don't think that her mouth is actually this far down on her face. She's photoshopping herself to make herself look worse, but still, it's not as thin as it is here. And her skin tone is lightened up by the app as well. There's also a little thing on it where you can, like on the app, where if you put it all the way up, it'll make your face, like your chin is the narrowest that it can be, and then if you put it all the way down, then it's just kind of gone. So I watched a video of someone reacting to one of those videos. The majority of the effect was from an app it didn't really translate. Yeah, it doesn't. So if you were to see all of this without the filter that she's using, it's just gonna look like anybody else. I guess just kind of putting a ton of makeup on. This over here, you can see that her skin is being, it looks like she's pulling her skin off. That's taping. So there's special skin tape that you can use. All of these things, they do not translate in person. So if you were to see the type of makeup that she has going on here and seeing her in person, it's going to be super noticeable. You'll be able to tell that something is very off. So it's all just mind tricks. Now this is real. This is an actual video that you can find. So this is her before and this is her after. So you can watch the lady do this live. Here's her little watermark there. But so beautiful. I just absolutely love it. I think it's great. So our clients over here, she has gorgeous eyes, great brows, very nice lips. We just have some rosacea going on here. I mean, her hair is looking a little bit rough, but she's a very beautiful girl. And yeah, we just kind of accentuate that over here. But notice how much lighter her skin looks here without the redness. So you can't see much of her natural skin tone through the rosacea that she has. And now we don't see that over here. Okay, and I think this is the last one that I have. This is a trend that we have going now. So this person uses self-tanner, and we can see that because her face is super, super pale. Again, beautiful girl. Love her eye color. That's great. She's blonde. Very pretty, but she uses self-tanner and does not put it on her face, and then when she puts her makeup on, everything blends together. I follow a few YouTube influencers that do that same thing, but it's high maintenance to do that because you'll really never be able to, okay, that's not true. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but you just kind of have to live with the fact that if you want to run to Publix really quick and you don't have any makeup on, that you're going to look like two different people. If you have like a super tan body and then you're not wearing any makeup and your face is still pale, I mean, you know, it's a toss up. Yeah, so there you have it. Perfect. So any questions? Hi, Rihanna. All right, so lighter colors seem to diminish or minimize the appearance of facial features. That is not true. We want darker colors and a contour if we're trying to minimize the appearance of any features. So complementary colors will neutralize each other when they are mixed together. That is true. It will create a neutral color. So the lightness or darkness of a color is referred to as the value. Do your makeup when there's no more Rona stuff going on, Kylie. I'll think about that. Let me get back to you, Logan. All right, and then warmth or coolness of a color is referred to as the tone. So color schemes that use the same color with variations in value and intensity throughout the makeup design are known as monochromatic. So that was our red swatch that we had looked at previously. All right, so the most corrective makeup and contouring is done to help the face appear more oval, as we talked about before. That's that's kind of the desired face shape, typically. All right, contour to soften the angularity of a square face and reduce the width, or contour to soften the angularity. Yep. Apply highlighter if you're trying to reduce, and then the eyes can be divided into 3 different areas, the eyelid, the crease area, and the brow bone. And choose darker, more muted lip colors to minimize full lips. But why would we do that? Personal opinion. Personal opinion. Why would we do that? All right. Wonderful. Let me turn you guys back around. Stop sharing my screen. Oh my God. What am I doing? Okay. All right, perfect. So that's all of our theory for today. So before we end off, sorry, before we end off for today, does anybody have any further questions about any of that or anything? Oh, let's talk about a couple of our projects really quick that are coming up. Everything is uploaded, everything is on there for the rest of the week. So for day 2, a lot of you have already started. Here, let's see, for the eyebrow shape vision board, do I screenshot the boards or send a link? You could do either or, whichever is easier for you. And then I just want to clarify, all of the projects are required. Yes, yes, they are. Yep. And we call them projects. That's just kind of the term that we've been using for them. But yeah, you're welcome. Some of them take longer to do than the other ones. A couple of the projects are pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Won't take too long. All right, cool. So let's see, for day 2, we have our hair removal presentation. So you're gonna do the video of that consult. Then we have 2 videos for styles, or I'm sorry, a video for 2 styles, a color retouch, and 4 scalp treatments, and then your eyebrow shaping project. All right, Candace, all of our work from the week is due on Sunday at the very latest. Yes, exactly. Due every Sunday by 11:59 p.m. All right, so then for day 3, we have our makeup product project. So for that one, we are comparing high end to low end. So you'll choose a high end line in either in makeup or, I'm sorry, not or, and. We'll choose a high end line in makeup and then a low end line in makeup, for instance. So our high end, we have Estee Lauder as high end, and then low end would be Maybelline. There you go. And then the influencer makeup application, I'm getting a lot of questions about that. It just choose any influencer that you want, watch a makeup tutorial by them, and recreate it. That's it. So it's just a practical assignment. So you're just filming yourself doing a makeup application. Just as always, make sure to include your name, the date, the assignment that you're doing before you get started. And let me know which influencer you are recreating the makeup look of. So you don't actually have to like include a little thing of the video of the influencer that you're doing. Like you don't have to go that hard. Just let me know which influencer look you're recreating. That's fine. All right, great. And I got a lot of questions about the booklet as well. Here we go. For day 1, the facial protocol booklet, that you are just creating essentially sort of your own booklet. You don't have to make a literal booklet. You can just do it and just type it all up, and then you can send it to me in a Word document. But you're creating your own facial protocol for your salon. So you're acting as though you have your own salon, and if you're creating the rules for it, we're creating the rules for any facials that we do. So you can add in your own little things. You know, maybe here in my salon, every single facial comes with a hot towel or comes with aromatherapy, things like that. So you'll have to do a little bit of research on what salons in the area, or really anywhere, what they offer and what you would like to implement, and any safety steps that you would like to include in it. Okay, and again, all of those explanations are on Lab. The only one that there's not an explanation for is just the influencer makeup application. But again, it's just a makeup application, just recreated from an influencer that you like. Any questions on that? All right, cool. Well, then great. Thank you all so much for coming in. So I will go ahead and, okay, wait. So what exactly are you looking for in the eyebrow thing? Okay, so for the brow, let me tell you exactly. I know that I have it pulled up here in Lab. Not that one. I don't need that one anymore. Okay. So you're going to use Padlet. I've never heard of that, but like Pinterest or even just going on Google, just create a board of eyebrow shapes. All right, so your vision board should have at least 10 great examples and 10 terrible examples of eyebrow shapes that exist in the world today. So that's it. And if you do make it on Pinterest, just send me a link to the little Pinterest board that you created. That's probably going to be the easiest one, and I can just view those quickly on my phone. But yeah, let me give you an example. So bad eyebrows. And this is all opinion, okay? This is all opinion. I think everybody's beautiful. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Yep. So you're just going to choose eyebrows that you don't particularly care for, and then maybe some eyebrows that you do particularly care for. These aren't terrible, but I see where they're coming from. She's rich enough. She shouldn't have a harsh line like that. Like, come on. All right. So you're just creating a little board of 10 brow shapes that you consider bad, and then 10 that are absolutely phenomenal. Oh yes, there we go. Goals. I love that bushy brows are back in. Wish I would have known that was going to be a thing years ago. Yep, there you go. The bushy brow. I'm so jealous of her eyebrows. This model actress. I always forget her name too, but all right, cool. So that's it. Oh my God, you're right. You can't see. I wasn't I wasn't sharing my screen. I'm so sorry. All right, hold up. I guess let me turn it around. Durr. Give me a break, Kylie. Okay, let's do that one more time. Okay, these are the brows that I was saying. Her brows are so great. I always forget her name, but she has amazing brows. And then we have like these super awesome. These are so great. Has anybody heard of brow lamination? That's a new thing. It's perming of the eyebrows so that your brows permanently look sort of like that. You're kind of perming them all up, and it gives you a microbladed effect, but without having microbladed your brows. My best friend is looking into getting certified to doing it. I'm like, please use me as a model. I will do it. All right, let's look at our bad brows really quick because we had a few bad brows. Okay. There we go. So yeah, maybe brows that we don't consider ideal currently. And this is what I was saying. She has enough money. They shouldn't be that blocky. Yeah, these aren't terrible, but at the same time, it's like I feel like you can afford a makeup artist that could do maybe a little bit better. This is good for just us just doing our own makeup, but come on. All right. For the influencer makeup, can we do our own makeup and turn in a photo? Not a photo. It does need to be a video so that we know it was actually you that performed the service. And the makeup product we choose, 2 brands and compare. Exactly. Yep. Just make sure that the brand that you do, you choose one that's considered a high-end product and then one that's considered a low-end product. And the parameters for that, low end is considered 15 and under for price on any product, and high end is considered $16 and above. Oh my. I mean, we can't say that she's not creative. We can't say that. Let's see. You could do a PowerPoint. Well, hold on. Let me see. That depends. Give me 1 second. Hair removal presentation, project, influencer application. No. So your influencer application, it is a practical assignment, so it does need to be a video. But then your makeup product, oh yeah, for the makeup product one, yes, you could certainly do a PowerPoint for that. That's fine. Either the 1 to 2 page paper or the PowerPoint. And I don't necessarily have the comparable items, but I can PowerPoint it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, if you don't actually have the items yourself, that's okay. All right, I'm gonna turn this around again. Okay, yeah, so that's perfectly fine. If you don't actually have the physical item, doesn't matter. You can just add pictures onto your PowerPoint, or if you're doing the paper option, then just give me the information on it. And I really do like PowerPoints because you can include a lot of photos on them. Just if you are making me a PowerPoint, make sure that it's longer than like, it's gonna be like at least 10 slides. And it has to have a significant amount of information on it for me to accept it. I don't want like a 5-slide presentation. That's not gonna be long enough. And then even if it is 10 to 15, but you only have like a sentence on each slide, I'm not gonna count that either. I have not come across that yet, just so everybody knows. Everyone that has submitted PowerPoints to me for any of their projects, they've been great. So no complaints. All right, well, wonderful, guys. If nobody else has any more questions, then I think that's it. So I will make sure that everyone who was a part of today's lecture will get the hours for that. It's actually very easy for me to calculate that. I just download on GoTo everybody that was in the meeting, and it tells me for how long. So perfect. All right, great. All right, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you all again on Tuesday, but you'll hear from me before then. Feel free to shoot me an email or send me a text through to my Google Voice number if you have any questions. And oh, one other thing that I did want to tell you guys, I'm super excited. I got 2, possibly 3 other educators who are now going to be helping me with entering grades in and contacting you guys. So if anybody does get a phone call, not from myself, but from Sheena, Shannon, or Crystal, they're kind of assisting me with this class. So they'll be reaching out to you if I need them to as well. All right? Perfect, but still send all of your things to me. All of your assignments, just send them right to me. I don't want assignments going to all these different emails. I'm not trying to lose anybody's work. All right, wonderful. Well, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for coming in. It was wonderful to be here and speak with all of you guys again and see a couple of you. And I'll talk to you soon, okay? All right. Bye, guys.
Oh, hi. What the heck?
Mic problems.